I'm Jacqueline Molcharik. Returning now to one of our top stories, the U.S. surge against the Taliban. Tom Wilkerson is the head of the U.S. Naval Institute and also a former Navy general. He joins us from Washington. General, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure, Jacqueline. That's Marine General.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I want to start by asking, many British soldiers have been in Helmand, I believe since 2006, right, where the Taliban is centered,
yes,
where opium production is centered. Why have those troops not been successful so far?
Well, I think it's not so much a question of why they haven't as we haven't really, we being NATO and the United States as a member, put the resources together that now the Obama administration and the NATO coalition have agreed they should put. 5,000 soldiers is a lot. And when you put it in that particular province, it's going to have an impact.
So it's simply just the numbers, right? The fact that we have 4,000 U.S. Marines going in there that's going to make a difference finally?
4,000 Marines, an entire brigade, and then almost 800 Afghan troops and police forces. And that will make a difference. But that's a near-term difference, Jacqueline. There are two issues here that we need to look at. The first is the military one of can we make the region peaceful? And can we protect the populace, the citizens, from Taliban retribution? That's a military solution, and while it's a bit easier, it'll take some time. The longer solution, though, is the one that they've signed on to keep it that way.
So let me ask you, I mean, in terms of the scope and the numbers that we're seeing going in, though, militarily, you believe it can be won in time?
Yes, indeed.
Okay,
but that's the short-term
yes,
solution, and it can be won in time. The question, though, is there's also been a larger mission assigned, and that's part of what General McChrystal has kind of bent things into in Afghanistan, and that is can they establish a mechanism that demonstrates that the central government and the police force and the Afghan army can maintain the peace, protect the citizens, and continue to monitor there. And that's a much longer-term solution, and quite frankly, that's going to take some time, and it is in doubt.
Right, and that's the difficult portion, as many people point out, is the winning the hearts and the minds of the Afghan people, setting up systems that, you know, provide for that to happen. Can you flesh that out? I mean, in real terms, how do you do that? How do you start to go about that?
Well, that's the real question, and it's also something that you and your viewers should recognize. If you look over our shoulder historically, it hasn't ever been done, because the warlords, the opium production, all the things that are characteristic of Afghanistan in the past are still present. And what we're saying is we're going to make an attempt to change that. And so the answer is very simple but not easy, and that is, are the streets safe? Are the people able to lead productive lives? Does the government have credibility in keeping that peace? And that's a real long-term challenge.
Right. So let me ask you, as you've heard, I mean, is it complicating all of this, the fact that we do have a U.S. soldier, from what we understand, that has been captured, not directly tied to this surge, but, you know, apparently, according to some reports, a soldier was seen walking off an American base with one Afghan or two Afghans. I mean, how does this change the game? Does it?
Doesn't. But on the other hand, as your country and our country, when we have soldiers who are captured by enemies, it has a disproportionate impact on our willingness to go to extraordinary measures to rescue that person. And I'm sure that United States forces are looking at just that possibility, and of course they won't talk about it. But on the other hand, it will not interrupt the operation that's going on, nor will it have an adverse impact on it. We've already recognized what the Taliban and others who are terrorist enemies do with captured Americans, captured journalists, captured people, and it's something we just have to deal with one day at a time.
All right, Tom Wilkerson, head of the U.S. Naval Institute and also a former Navy general or Marine general, as you pointed out to us, joining us.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
We do appreciate it. Thank you.